What's going on, guys? Aaron from Top Tier Gaming here, and today I have a topic I'm super excited to go over, and it's concerning the brand new Marincess support that actually got announced yesterday at the time of me recording this video, and I'm super excited. So I've been a pretty long time Marincess player, at least 6 or so months, and I just want to talk about the new support and how good I think it is. I mean, I think this support is massive for the deck. Super excited. I cannot wait for it to come out, and who knows how long it could take forever, but I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later because I want to play with the support super bad because I think it took the deck to a whole different level. So I'm going to go over some of the cards that got announced. I'm going to leave the links down below to the cards in case you guys haven't seen the news or whatnot. But yeah, I'm going to go over the effects to the best of my ability, how they interact in the deck, because I've actually tested it on Dueling Book for a few hours, and I think the support's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, let's just get into it. So initially when I saw the support, I was like, alright, the extender from hand looks pretty good, the Link 4 looks alright, the level 5 looks okay because she's an extender, the spell's good, and the traps are bad. And that was my initial response. That's not how it turned out to be, for sure. I still think the traps aren't that great, and I just think the Marincess traps in general aren't very good because, well, most of the good ones, they require you to have, like, already a Link 3 or higher monster on the field, which means if you don't get there, either your opponent interrupted you, or you're going second. They just don't do enough, and I just feel like hand traps are better. And I just feel like the traps, as far as they're concerned in Marincess, they're just not very good. However, the spell, let's talk about the spell first, because the spell is absolutely insane. And this is exactly what I felt was the largest difference between this deck and Salamangreat, was the fact that Salamangreat have Will of the Salamangreat, and Marincess just didn't have an extending spell, and it was really annoying. Now, I understand sort of why they didn't want to release a spell initially, and that's because spells in Marincess, if the spell has Marincess in its name, it is inherently beyond good for the deck. So, like, the fact that the spell is either an emergency teleport or a monster reborn for a non-Link Marincess, that's a good effect, but that's not even, like, in my opinion, what makes it so good for the deck. In my opinion, what makes it so good for the deck is the fact that we have Sea Angel, who can search a Marincess spell from your deck. Previously, that was only Battle Ocean. Now we have Dive, which is so good. I guess I should go over the effects of these cards just in case you're unaware. Yeah, it's a Monster Reborn. If you don't control Battle Ocean, it's just a Monster Reborn for a Marincess in your graveyard, a non-link. And then if you control your field spell, you can actually special one from deck, which is so good because it can find Blue Tang, which is fantastic. But yeah, Sea Angel can search this card, making it always, like, you know, searchable. But also, when you use Blue Tang as a material for the Link Summon of a water monster, you actually get to dig, you know, the top 3 cards of your deck, and she can find this spell card. And not only that, Pascalis, you can banish her from graveyard to add it back to your hand. Like, Marincess's getting a spell card is so good, beyond just the fact that this card is absolutely phenomenal. And the spell is by far the thing I was most excited for, especially initially. However, there's another card I feel like is just as good once I started playing with the deck some more that I didn't catch on to just by reading it, even though I have at least a lot of hours playing Marincess. But yeah, the spell is phenomenal. To talk about the new Link 4, I think she's very good. My initial reasons for, like, saying, she looks alright when I just, like, glanced at her was she's not, like, better than Reef. You just want to make Reef, right? And my first thought was, like, how am I getting 2 Link 4s on the field? That's extremely difficult to do unless you open Insane. But it turns out it's much easier than I thought. And now you end with Battle Reef and this new Aqua Argonaut. And that gives you a Spell and Trap Negate. And a Spell and Trap Negate, a Spell and Trap Negate on the surface doesn't seem that great, but it's a way to protect your field spell, which is really all you want to do, is protect your field spell so that Battle Reef is essentially invincible, except for Kaijus. And yeah, the fact that you get a Spell and Trap Negate, she can interrupt your opponent through that, and then she's also a good, like, going second card because you can bounce a water monster you control, bounce a card they control. Of course, it targets, which is kind of, you know, whatever. Her first effect doesn't really matter. You're not going to have her in the extra monster zone very often. But yeah, her Spell and Trap Negate is really good, and not only does it negate a spell, a trap, or effect, it can also special summon the thing that's equipped to it. And you actually equip something to her, usually Marbled Rock, through the next card I want to talk about, which is the level 5 that came out. So this card, again, has more layers than I initially thought. When I first saw it, I was like, okay, cool, extender from hand. But I didn't realize how good the other effect was because, again, at first glance, I thought the new Link 4 was kind of whatever, even though now I think she's very good for the deck. This rank 5 is awesome. So she's very easily searchable through Blue Tang. In fact, in my current build, I'm only playing one because you can almost always find her. There is one downside to the card, and that is the fact that she cannot go into Blue Slug or Sea Angel because she is level 5. However, so to special summon herself, she actually targets a Marincess card you control, and then she gets the effect that that card can't be destroyed by monster effects while she's in a monster zone. Now, you're not going to end with her very often, but what's really good about this is she can actually target Battle Ocean, which means you can end, in theory, with her protecting your Reef from monster effects, a Spell and Trap Negate, and your Battle Reef, which is just phenomenal. So her being able to protect the field spell is pretty cool. But the Banish effect is very important because if you're going to end up making both Link 4s, being, you know, your Reef and your Argonaut, you need her engraved to be able to banish herself and equip Marbled Rock to your new Link 4, because otherwise she won't have one, because she's not special summoned to the extra monster zone, so Battle Ocean doesn't actually give her a equipped spell, Marincess. You guys know what I'm going at. But yeah. So she is fantastic on both levels as well. Again, easily searchable because of Blue Tang, your new spell card. Just super, super solid support. And then actually, the card that I initially thought was good turned out to be great because she's actually fantastic in practice, is the new Spring Girl. So she can banish a Marincess monster to special summon herself from hand. So extender from hand, fantastic. Help you play through Interruption. Just help you link climb as well. But initially when I read her, I was like, okay, banish a Marincess monster is good, but you often want those in your grave for follow-up plays and recycling, and in some situations it's very hard to banish a Marincess monster. However, you can use her effect after making Bubble Reef, very often. It's quite easy. So you end up making your Towers Link 4 Reef, and then you use Spring Girl from your hand to banish the Marbled Rock that you used to make your Reef. I think she's Battle Reef. She could be Ocean Reef. Great Ocean Reef, Bubble Reef. Her name is Bubble Reef. I've been saying it wrong the whole time. Apologies, Bubble Reef. But then you summon her and you banish Marbled Rock. And then Bubble Reef actually has an effect where you can discard a water monster to special summon a banished Marincess monster, which means you can instantly grab your Marbled Rock that you just banished, and then that's another Link 4. And that is super, super good because it means you're ending 2 Link 4s, one being a Spell and Trap Negate. You got your Coral Anemone effect and you've reattached her. You got your Marbled Rock add back. That's super, super good. And it's all because this card just banishes a Marincess monster. So it's like, not only is she an extender, but she's a combo piece through the banish. And that's awesome. And then her second effect's actually really good as well. It can help you mill things. So when she's linked for a water monster, very similar in a way to Blue Tang, she mills cards from the top of your deck equal to the Marincess monster you control, and then you inflict 200 for each, which this is a nice effect because it means you can deal burn damage in game 3 and then win in time if it so comes to that. So burn damage effects are always nice to have. But then it can also get more things in your graveyard, like you can mill Marincess Mandarins, you can mill other combo pieces like a Seahorse, and then add that back with Marbled Rock. So it's a really nice way to mill things in your graveyard, but also you can get things like Swamp Frog, Ronin Toad if you decide to play those. You can mill things like Sea Archiver if you choose to go that way. The mill is very, very good for so many different things, and Marincess can play from their graveyard, right? Like, they have cards that add back from grave. And it's just a really nice effect, even though it is random. So technically both Blue Tang and her have some RNG attached through milling and looking at your top 3. But yeah, both are very good. I do still think the traps are just kind of bad. It's unfortunate, but they're just not that great. Marincess Wave, in my opinion, is still the best trap, and I don't even play that in my build, and I don't think I will. So yeah, the support, I think, has changed Marincess for the better. I do think this deck can now... It's a lot better, but I'm not going to say it's going to be meta. I don't want to jump to any guns. I don't think it'll be anything super crazy, but I'm willing to be surprised if the OCG starts doing some stuff with it and we see it's really good. That'd be a nice surprise. I do just, absolutely adore playing Marincess. It's one of my favorite decks, and this support, I mean, I was like just spinning in circles essentially yesterday when I saw it, because I was like, this is fantastic. And yeah, super excited for the support. Let me guys know in the comments below what you guys think. Are you going to be trying to play Marincess? Have you already been playing Marincess? What do you think of the cards? Do you like the traps? You know, whatever you want to leave in the comments, leave it down below. This has been Aaron from Top Tier Gaming. Bye, YouTube.